Well, now a little postscriptum, or perhaps a coda, since we are in the musicological domain. We saw how the murder of a father leads to a repression, so that its memory returns as a metonymy, but a metonymy which must be kept alive and which must keep to circulate and to be kept alive by all through ceremonials such as music making or dance, so as to create a social bond. We've also seen how the concept of a name of a father or names of a father operates on undifferentiation in order to create a differentiation, and as such it supplements the whole in the real. That differentiation is then inscribed into the symbolic, and that allows me to exist to myself and to others with labels such as totem, son of, daughter of, director of, pope of, chancellor of, analyst of a school, or as a published author such as Joyce or William Burroughs. And one of the effects of this nomination is to allow for a quilting point in order to stabilize signification. The name of a father must remain symbolic. Politicians who become real fathers, who think they are the father, get the boot prontish. They get put to death in a ritual manner, for instance through elections, but also through coups or assassinations. Now it's just that we have a depreciation of the name of a father. Its strength is on the wane. This was mapped out by Lacan back in 1936 in a paper called The Decline of the Name of a Father. It is experienced as not enough any longer, and it is devalued by the discourse of science and the discourse of capitalism. And in that instance, not even St. Paul's loving father is enough any longer. The real used to be nature, that is the seasons, the planets, the immutable, what always came back at the same place. It was predictable, computable, tractable. And that is what the name of a father as a category exemplified. In that sense, the totem always replied. Instead, science and capitalism have severed the cause-effect connection between the real and nature, and that gives us a real without law, a real without logical rules, for instance the economy, bioengineering, the erasing of sexual difference. Nowadays anyone can call themselves a man or a woman. We also have on-demand profile matching in order to find someone. In other words, the belief that there is somewhere someone for me. We also have the accelerated renewal of objects or gadgets, with the logical consequences of inbuilt obsolescence. We also have the individual having to fit a system rather than a system able to accommodate the individual, and that gives us one pill for all instead of one pill for one. The consequence of that is a one all alone subject with its objects, that is a subject alone with his objects, which leads to a alone altogether, in a kind of autistic rapport, a jouissance without anchoring in the social bond, whereby what is privileged is the usage value and not the exchange value. For instance, express yourself by expressing your individuality. As example, we have the Walkman, the MP3 player, the smartphone, phone apps which predict your moods and play suitable music based on the analysis of your listening patterns, so that there is no place for the contingent, for an accident, the Xbox, the Nintendo and other game consoles. The competition in Wagner's The Meistersingers has become the X Factor or pop idol. Winning the X Factor is a nomination, a name of a father, but because of the logic of capitalism, it does not last very long, and it cannot last very long because soon there must be a new winner. So we used to have a subject driving an object, whereas we now have the object driving the subject. If the real is lawless, then it does exist, whereas science and capitalism don't want it, and they promise to abolish it, which leads to no more contingent. So where does that leave us, musicians and musicologists? Perhaps to become exceptions. Not exceptional, but singular exceptions, that is, exceptions one by one.